And yet within this chaos, their bond becomes both their strength and their weakness. For every vow they've made, there are those who would see it broken. For every promise of love, there are threats of blood. Even time itself, which once bent to their will, now threatens to collapse, as though their defiance has angered something greater. The camera shifts, faces half-lit in firelight, voices raised in conspiracies, blades sharpened in the dark. A shadowed figure watches from the distance, their identity hidden, their intentions lethal. The danger is not only in battles fought with swords, but in secrets, betrayals, and the unseen hand that moves the pieces of fate. Through it all, Claire stands unbroken, her hand in Jamie's. Together they walk into the rising storm, knowing that survival is no longer just about life and death. It is about protecting the very story they have written with their love. And that story, though fragile, is worth every fight, every risk, every sacrifice. The storm roars louder. The world closes in. The stakes have risen, and neither of them can turn back. The screen cuts to black. A single whisper breaks through the silence. The veil between worlds trembles. The storm that once battered the earth now feels as though it rages inside time itself, tearing at the fabric that holds past, present, and future together. Claire Fraser stands at the center, her silhouette caught in a halo of firelight, her eyes unblinking as if she is staring into something no mortal should ever see. She has brought Jamie back once, but the shadow of death has not released its claim. The air thickens, the walls of her world bending as if unseen hands are trying to pull her apart. Death is not just a moment, it is a presence, a force that lingers, and Claire, unarmed except with her will, dares to face it. We see flashes of impossible visions, a door carved in stone, glowing with symbols older than memory, an hourglass suspended mid-air, its sand rising instead of falling, Jamie's face appearing through the mist, half in light, half in shadow, as if torn between two worlds. Each vision threatens to break her, but she stands tall, her hands clenched, her voice low but unyielding. I will not lose him. Not to you. Not now. The room shatters into fragments, time spinning like shards of glass. We glimpse futures that may never be. Claire walking alone through endless years. Jamie's grave untouched by her tears. Battles lost before they begin. But Claire rejects them all. She steps forward through fire and through shadow, reaching toward the fading light that is Jamie's soul. Her defiance is not quiet. It is thunderous. In her voice echoes every promise she has made, every vow unbroken, every moment of love that has bound them together across centuries. She does not plead. She commands. If death is a river, she will dam it. If death is a door, she will break it down. If death is a hand, she will wrench Jamie from its grasp. The sound builds, drums pounding like war, heartbeats colliding, whispers swelling into roars, and then silence. For one unbearable moment, there is nothing. A spark ignites. Jamie's eyes open. Claire falls against him, shaking with both terror and triumph. She has done the unthinkable. She has pulled him from the edge once more. But as the camera lingers, we see it in her gaze. She knows this victory has changed something deeper. She has stolen from death twice, and death does not forget. The screen burns to black. A single line glows across the darkness. When love defies death, death will answer back. The world shatters into chaos. Swords clash in blinding flashes. Fire sweeps across battlefields, and cries of war tear through the night. A storm of hoofbeats pounds the earth as riders emerge from the mist, their blades glinting like lightning. The screen cuts in sharp fragments, faces shouting, torches falling, secrets burning. The rhythm quickens, each image sharper, louder, more desperate. Jamie charges through the fog, his eyes fierce, his strength returned, yet shadowed by the price of survival. Claire runs to him, their hands nearly touching as enemies close in around them. The heartbeat sound returns, louder, faster, pulsing like a drum of war. One beat, two beats. Then a scream cuts through the storm. A figure falls. Another rises. Betrayal strikes like steel in the dark. The screen flickers with fire and shadow, as if history itself is crumbling. We hear Claire's voice, strong yet trembling. "They will never take you from me, not while I still breathe." Time seems to splinter. An hourglass bursts into sand, swirling into the sky. A door slams shut. The battlefield dissolves into silence. Then, the image of Jamie and Claire standing side by side emerges, their silhouettes against the blaze of war. They are not defeated. They are defiant. The music swells into a crescendo, crashing like thunder. Quick cuts. A sword raised high, a candle blown out, a whisper in the dark. The screen turns black. Silence holds for a moment. Agonizing, breathless. Then a single line cuts through, clear and sharp. This is not the end. This is where destiny begins. The title card slams onto the screen. Outlander Season 8. Coming soon. A final heartbeat echoes, steady and unyielding. Fade to black. Between life and death, there is only one heartbeat, and Claire Fraser will not let that heartbeat fade. Not when it belongs to Jamie. The screen flickers with shadows of storm clouds rolling across the sky. A candle flame shakes in the darkness, its light barely holding against the wind. A soft echo of thunder rolls in, and we see blurred flashes of Claire, her hands stained with blood, trembling, yet steady in their purpose. She is alone in a room filled with the silence of despair, but her voice in our minds is steady, sharp, unbreakable. "Not yet," she whispers, as if commanding the universe itself. Claire Fraser has stood against time, war, and the cruelty of fate. But now she stands before the greatest enemy of all, death. Jamie lies somewhere between this world and the next, his body broken by battle, his spirit slipping further away with every passing moment. To the world it might already seem too late, but to Claire, there is no such thing as too late. Every flash of her memory brings him back. The warmth of his touch, the sound of his laughter, the unshakable promise they made to each other. We see her clutching the wedding ring, pressing it against her lips like a vow renewed. Her love is her weapon, her defiance her shield. She will not let him go, not to the grave, not to history, not to time itself. As the camera lingers on her face, half lit in candlelight, her eyes burn with determination. Her tools of healing are scattered around her, bandages, herbs, blood-soaked cloths. But the fight she faces now is not just of medicine. It is a battle of willpower, of spirit, of love against death's cold hand. The storm outside grows stronger, lightning splitting the sky, echoing the turmoil inside Claire's heart. But as the world rages, she grows still. Her resolve hardens. This is not only about saving Jamie's life, it is about keeping their story alive. The love that has endured centuries, wars, and the tearing of time itself. Claire rises, every step heavy with the weight of what she is about to do. But she does not falter. Her voice echoes in the silence. "If death wants him, it will have to go through me." The scene fades to black. The battlefield lies in ruins. Smoke clings to the broken earth, curling upward like ghostly hands reaching for the heavens. The clash of steel has long gone silent, leaving only the cries of crows circling above. And there, among shattered swords and bloodied ground, Jamie Fraser's fate hangs by a fragile thread. His figure is still, his breath shallow. To any other eye, it would look as if the Highlander had already crossed into death's shadow. His hand, once so steady in battle, now lies limp, fingers curled around the hilt of a sword that has slipped from his grasp. The weapon rests against the soil as though abandoned, a silent witness to the fight that almost claimed him. But even in stillness, Jamie's spirit lingers. His presence hums like an echo caught between two worlds, calling out not in words, but in memory. We hear the faintest whisper of his voice, deep, steady, and filled with the strength that once carried Claire through storms of history. Sassenach, the single word breaks through the silence, reminding us that love is not so easily silenced. Visions surge in flashes, the swirl of tartan in the wind, the fierce light in his eyes, the vows spoken long ago beneath a Scottish sky. Each memory is like a pulse, keeping him tethered to life, though death presses ever closer. Time itself seems to bend around him, as if waiting to decide which path he will take, forward into darkness or back into the arms of the woman who refuses to let go. The air thickens with the weight of uncertainty. Jamie's story has always been one of survival, of strength against impossible odds. But here, on this blood-stained ground, even the strongest warrior is just a man. Vulnerable, breakable, mortal. His heart beats faintly like a distant drum, fading yet stubbornly refusing to stop. The camera draws closer. His lips move, though no sound escapes. The word is silent, but it is clear. Claire, always Claire. Even as the shadow of death leans over him, Jamie's soul reaches out, refusing to vanish. And somewhere beyond the battlefield, Claire feels it. A pull, a bond, as if his spirit touches hers through the veil. She knows he is not gone, not yet, but the choice of life or death may not rest in his hands alone. The screen flickers, cutting to black, as a heartbeat echoes once, twice, then falls into silence. Love is not a memory. It is a force that moves through time, through blood, through every heartbeat that dares to continue. For Claire Fraser, love has never been fragile. It has been fire, a fire that burns against centuries, against wars, against the laws of nature itself. And now, that fire becomes her greatest weapon. We see fragments of their life together, stitched into the story like ghostly visions. The warmth of Jamie's hand holding hers on a wedding night long past, the fierce embrace beneath the Scottish skies, as if the world outside could never break them. The quiet laughter stolen between battles, proof that even in war, love carves out its own refuge. Each memory is not just a picture, it is a promise. Claire clings to those moments, not as nostalgia, but as shields. For her, Jamie is not just a husband, not just a lover. He is her anchor to a world that constantly shifts beneath her feet. He is her reason for defying time, her reason for walking through fire, her reason for standing in front of death itself. Without him, the story collapses. With him, it will continue, no matter the cost. As lightning splits the sky, we see Claire pressing Jamie's ring to her lips once again. But this time, it is not quiet or desperate. It is defiant. Her voice shakes, yet it carries the weight of a vow unbroken. I swore I would never leave you. Not in this life, not in the next. The words are simple, but in them is the weight of centuries, of battles already fought, and of the unshakable truth. Love has already defeated death before, and it will do so again. The air grows thick. The screen flickers with images of them together, hands reaching across centuries, faces pressed together in the chaos of war, eyes finding each other when all else fades. It is not just romance, it is survival. Their bond is the key to everything. And somewhere in the darkness, a faint heartbeat returns. A fragile rhythm, but real. Love has spoken. Love has reached him. The promise is clear. If Jamie cannot find his way back, Claire will go to where he is, and she will bring him home. The screen fades, leaving only the sound of two heartbeats, one echoing after the other. The night is darker than it has ever been. The storm outside pounds against the walls, as if the heavens themselves are warning her to stop. But Claire Fraser does not stop. She kneels over Jamie, her face lit by a trembling candle, her hands steady in defiance of fate. Death hovers close, its shadow cold, waiting for her to surrender. She does not. The room feels alive with something unseen. Every heartbeat Jamie clings to sends a shiver through the air. Every shallow breath a reminder of how thin the thread of life has become. But Claire knows threads can be rewoven. She has walked through time itself, challenged the very fabric of history. And tonight, she will challenge death. We see her preparing, not with weapons of war, but with tools of healing, faith, and sheer will. Bandages, herbs, and steel instruments glint under the candlelight. Her movements are precise, deliberate, but it is not only skill that drives her. It is fury. Fury that the man she loves has been pushed to the edge. Fury that fate dares to steal him. That fury sharpens her focus until nothing else remains. The scene shifts. Lightning cracks across the sky, and for a moment it feels as though the veil between worlds is tearing open. Claire's eyes blaze, as though she can see through the storm into the place where Jamie's soul lingers. "You are not leaving me," she whispers. But the whisper carries like thunder, a command to the universe itself. Images flash like fragments of prophecy. A door standing in the dark, shadows of enemies circling, the hourglass shattering as time itself begins to unravel. Claire steps toward that invisible door, not in body but in spirit, her will reaching across the veil. She will not beg. She will fight. The heartbeat sound grows louder, pulsing in rhythm with her determination. 1 beat, 2 beats. Then silence. Agonizing silence. Claire presses her hands harder against Jamie's chest, her tears falling, her strength unyielding. If death wants him, it will have to take me too. The silence breaks. A gasp shatters the stillness. Jamie's chest rises, fragile but alive. Claire collapses against him, her arms wrapping around his broken body, her tears mixing with the storm outside. The screen cuts to black, a single line burning across it. Life has returned to Jamie, but peace is nowhere to be found. His survival has set forces in motion, forces darker and more dangerous than either he or Claire could imagine. Death has been defied, but such defiance carries a cost. The air is heavy with unease. Letters burn in secret fires, sealed with the wax of enemies who plot in the shadows. A shattered hourglass falls in slow motion, its sand scattering like the time they no longer control. Every grain whispers of danger, of destiny unraveling. What Claire saved in one moment may yet be stolen in another. Whispers of rebellion spread across the land. The clash of armies is heard in the distance, steel ringing in the mist as riders charge through forests cloaked in fog. Allies turn uncertain, enemies grow bolder, and the line between friend and foe blurs like smoke on the horizon. Claire and Jamie are no longer fighting for just their love. They are caught in the storm of history itself, a storm that will not stop until it swallows them whole.